Hello and welcome back to the TheDropOutDragon. Today we're going to be showcasing a bleed build that I have been running around with. It's very simple. It is a 40-40 build just so I can, toss around some variety in it. And what we're going to be using with this bleed build is the Ashen Warrior Sword. Now I have two of them, and I have power stance them. Now I do switch it up. I also have a whip, a notched whip, and a bandit's knife just for maximum bleeding. Now the moveset on this weapon is nothing special. Its R2s and R1s mimic the Sun Sword quite well. Power stance, nothing particularly special about that. However, its bleed dynamic, the actual damage that it does, is actually quite high. Now I've left the right hand uninfused so I can actually buff it with bleed serum. And this weapon can bleed people very quickly and still has enough direct damage to continue putting the hurt on your enemy. So hopefully I can showcase that a little bit. The bleed builds are a little bit more rare than others as they are not as effective with most of the weapons. Now some would argue that the Full Moon Sickle does more bleed damage and is just generally better for bleeds, but it's also really slow and carries that nasty halberd moveset. In my opinion, is not very good. So we will see how this goes. Now you see I have the left hand infused, but not the right. That is so I can buff the right and still keep a decent amount of damage. Now unfortunately, unlike Dark Souls 1, bleed does not go through shields, and that is unfortunate, so you can't really lay the pressure on through people's shields like these guys who want to back up a turtle. Alright. Now, you can totally run around and be a parry king and do all that fun stuff, but for this I have chosen not to carry a parrying weapon only because, or shield, sorry, only because of the simple fact I just want to get these hits on him. Now watch this, he's going to want to trade. He backed off, he thought better of it, that's good. And well, that's all we're doing. I want him to trade, I want to show off you can win with the trade. And we'll just hit him right there. Go for the guard there. And he's gone. Now, a bleed did go through on that last hit there. That last critical. The bleed did go through. And now he is gone. As simple as that. There's nothing really special about bleed other than the fact that it will surprise the enemy. Now, once the bleed effect has taken place, the person loses stamina and the person loses speed. He's not going to move around as much, which is good. Good for everybody. And it surprises them because it completely throws them off their flow, throws them off the groove. And it's a good way, it's a really good way to surprise an enemy. Also, when trading, you will most likely win. If you guys just want to sit there and R1 spam each other, you're probably going to win that trade because eventually you will do the bleed and it'll affect their stamina, which is, of course, affecting their ability to R1 spam. And some of the people who have been around my stream understand what I mean by the R1 spam, where you just sit there and oh, I've been hit. Better hit R1 over and over and over again. No big deal. Now, when I power stance weapons, sometimes I don't use the power stance moveset. It's really only kind of a situational type of thing. You don't really want to set someone up to be hit by the power stance. You want to wait for the opportunity, but don't rely on it. If you rely on it, then they're going to hit you more often than you're going to hit them, and you're going to be upset by it, so I wouldn't do that. But the Ashen Warrior Sword, which is this sword that we are using, is it's a straight sword that bleeds people very well. Now just think about that for a moment. It has the speed of a straight sword. It's the versatility of a straight sword. If you two-hand it, most likely you're going to break their poise. It just all around seems much more effective than most of the other bleed tools in the game. I of course use the welcome gesture because it looks the funniest in my opinion and it's very generic. So this guy's made a mistake. I'm going to catch him in the roll. No, I'm not. That was a lie. He is fat rolling, which is pretty pathetic. But there we go. There's the bleed, okay? Now, how do you tell if somebody's been bled? There's a very, very faint red aura, which you might have just seen there. It's very faint, but you can see it. It's like a little red aura just slowly pouring off of them. Very, very faint. If I had anything I could change about that, I'd definitely make it more visible. There is also a sound, but it's, if you're not paying attention, You're not going to hear it very well, especially with, you know, actually hitting them also makes a sound too, so you're just going to completely miss that. But there's a very, very faint aura that pops up when the player has been bled, and then you know you can really go in for those hits because they have been drained a little bit of stamina and they're much slower. Now that person was kind of a bad example, but I just laid on the hurt. Now that's another reason that you should consider the Ashen Warrior Sword when it comes to bleed builds, as I had the speed and versatility to just keep hitting him. Yeah, he kept rolling and he was fat rolling, which was just kind of bizarre, but you know, you get what you get. Another thing I'd like to comment on is that I was trying to do this in the arena, but the arena seemed pretty dead. So I went over and grabbed a Dragon Eye. Now the reason I use a Dragon Eye on the bridge is it connects to more soul memory tiers than anything else other than a small soapstone, which obviously is not ganking anybody. Also, if you're a dragon bro, you can't be ganked. The host can't see the Dragon Eye if he's got other summons with him. So that's nice too. So it's just a clear way to get some one-on-one action. So that's one of the reasons I use the Dragon Eye. And of course, it connects with so many more people than other things. So this is what we're rolling with. And I can consistently with this build bleed a lot of people. Now this guy, he's being tricky and funny. It's time to... He's doing an honor chug. That's fine. I'll just do an honor chug of my own by not doing it and just not healing. That's a good way to start off with. Not that I'm making fun of him. I'm glad that he's a cool person, but oh, he got right out of that. Now, in terms of direct damage, this weapon doesn't do like a whole lot, but it works enough. Right there. Now he's bled. He's walking slow. He's having problems dodging now. He got hit in those combos. Let's, let's go try hard on him. He wanted to trade. Caught him in the roll right there with those power stance, and boom, the fight is over. Just like that. That is the ability of a straight sword. To just beat on them. Yeah, I like to joke that you can be just as rude as you want to be with a weapon like this. You can be very aggressive, or you can be defensive if you need to. You can space yourself well. It is an all-around because of its moveset, because it is a bleed weapon, and because it is a straight sword. I find it to be the most effective bleeding tool in the game. Obviously, the bandit knife is faster, but it doesn't do as much damage, and it's, you know, you're just running around dagger spamming over and over again and trying to get those backstabs. But in reality, I just don't find it anywhere near as effective as the straight sword. Now, I do have a bandit's knife with me for a quick rolling attack. This is what they're good for. It's these little rolling attacks, get those extra bleeds in there. And I do have a notched whip, which you cannot infuse, by the way. I learned that the hard way. But these are situational. These are your utility tools, you know, that are working in conjunction with the Ashen Warrior Sword. There's no real reason to main them when you can use a weapon like this. So, take note too, like I said before, I don't have a parrying tool because of the fact this weapon doesn't do a whole lot of critical damage. Now, it does have a lot of bleed build-up when using when a critical comes into it, but I think that's a bigger risk than you need to, and it's just much easier to set them up into a straight sword combo. Alright, he's pumped up, he's ready, I'm ready, let's all get ready. He too is using a straight sword, which I have to consider. I have to think about it. I'll get in his face a little bit. Really bothers people when you get in their face and you don't attack. Really bothers them, because they never know what you're going to do. It's going to give you the opportunity to keep getting in their face, get a little roll punish going there. See, that wasn't very impressive for a critical damage. That wasn't very impressive. Okay, now you see you get in his face again. Oh, that time he got wise. That's good. Threw a firebomb, not something I would have done. And caught him right there in that roll. He is bleeding. He is bleeding. He's got nothing left. And speaking of utility, pop. Oh, he dodged that. Good for him. And we went for the trade and we got it. So there we go. GG. Simple as that. And that is how you continue to use your brain in a fight. Easy as that. Just watch them, control the fight, think about what you're doing. When it comes to a bleed build, you have to remember that you're hitting them and that bar is going down. His buildup is going down. His buildup is going down slowly, and you have to continue to put the pressure on to get that bleed going. That is one of the big things that you have to consider when using any kind of build-up mechanic like poison or bleeding. And another thing, I feel that bleed in a way is superior to poison because I'm carrying a tool right now, the poison moss. Simple as that. Oh, now your bleed build doesn't, or sorry, your poison build doesn't matter. Your poison build is just irrelevant. Here we go. Oh, it's irrelevant again. How does that feel? You like your little butterfly setup? Oh, doesn't work. See how that works? But you can't really do that with bleed. It's not many. I can't think of an item off the top of my head that reduces bleed buildup. And if there is, I'm gonna laugh and feel stupid in the comments. But I've never seen anyone actually carry it around, so I still feel like it's a relevant thing. So I actually prefer bleed to poison in almost every single case. Unless, of course, you're doing PvE, in which you'll probably kill them before you poison them anyway, so it doesn't matter. Because if you're using a poison build without a manslayer, then shame on you. Which I will showcase at some point, I'm sure. Dual poisoned manslayers are pretty good for that, if you know what you're doing. But I try to avoid katanas like the plague anyway. Alright, so the Mr. Swag Nation here, he's ready. He's using a much longer weapon than mine. I have to take that into consideration and think about it. Play a little bit of reactionary, poke him. Nothing there. Didn't catch that. That's okay. He's going for them R2s, and I will go for my own and stick him just like that. Easy, easy, easy. Now he's going to try to parry, I bet, right after a rolling attack. Now, I didn't expect that actually to hit me, but GG Dark Souls netcode and awkward hitboxes. Oh. In there too. Go for a little bit of a roll punish. Boom. There it is. 420 damage. Seems appropriate on a guy like that. I'm gonna back up a little bit. He wants to throw something, I'll throw something. He's the one who came out on top there. Little poke. Be a little careful. He's going for big damage, two-handing that. What you gonna do? He's playing very defensively, wants me to get close, he wants to throw out those attacks. But I just have to play it smart. And hopefully, trick him into a trade. There it is. Bam. No trade. And bam. Whoop. GG. Just like that. The swag 420 guy, he's gone. And that's good. It makes me feel good. So really and truly, with a build like this, you just have to play it smart. That's all it is. And any quality build can use a bleed mechanic, no problem. No problem. So the arguments when it comes to actually doing bleed build up, really and truly, like I said, I don't feel there's any better tool than what I'm using. Now, it is true that the Full Moon Sickle does more bleed damage than this weapon. I believe it's the Full Moon Sickle. I do have it with me. Yeah, Full Moon Sickle. It does more bleed, but it also has less counter. It's just not... Well, sorry, that was comparing it to the Bandit's Knife. I'll show that in a little bit, whatever. But it's using the halberd, or sorry, not the halberd moveset, the scythe moveset, the Reaper moveset. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the Full Moon Sickle. It's very slow, and it doesn't warrant its own existence when other weapons like this exist. Even against the Bandit Knife, I prefer a Bandit Knife over the Full Moon Sickle. So, sorry for getting my words mixed up there. Alright, we got an Honor Chugger. That's nice. Now, one of the things about bleeding serum is I have seen players, they do something kind of interesting. That's the first time I've seen somebody open up with that in a very long time. Sorry. Sorry. I realized I didn't have my weapon's power stance, and I got hit for it. A lot of players will only buff if you buff. There are some people who are taking this like slightly honorable role. Just put that in you there real quick, buddy. They will only buff if you do, and I've noticed that when I put on the bleed serum, they're gonna buff because obviously it looks like flame weapon or whatever. But yeah, I think it doesn't look different enough to warrant. It should look different, I think. It should be dripping with blood or something. But as we all know, all the buffs in this game are super ugly. Really, really ugly. But it does, from in our hands, obviously we can tell the difference between the bleed serum and the fire weapon. But to them, it just looks like my weapon's on fire. Bam, it must be flame weapon, which I don't blame them for thinking. So, not a huge deal. This video is probably not going to be super long. I'm just going to go for the regular 30 minutes, just 30 minutes on the bridge. I don't know what weapon I'm going to be showcasing next. I will say this. Now, this is probably, most of you aren't going to hear this now that you have watched a couple of fights and moved on. But if you did watch the whole video, I guess you'll hear this. I just like throwing out these really shitty videos, but people seem to like the, real live conversation. The live commentary. My channel has been very dead of late. I focus on Twitch. I like streaming. It's easier. It's basically my full-time job, and it's just what I do. So there'll be a link for that in the description. But the point is that when it comes to making YouTube videos, first off, there's less and less that hasn't already been covered, or that anybody even really cares about. I'm definitely going to be putting out videos for Bloodborne. I'll probably put out some videos for the re-release of Dark Souls 2 on the PS4. It is of my opinion that the PS4 Dark Souls 2 will be more populated than the Xbox One, only because Bloodborne is coming out on the PS4. And players will want to further warrant the existence of their PS4. And you, sir, are rude. You are a rude dude. Absolutely. Now he's going to immediately want to trade, I bet. So I'll just put those into him. We did get a bleed. And go ahead. You could put me. I'll take a little nap, but you're going to take the dirt nap. So there's that. And that is how you don't use a strength weapon, ladies and gentlemen. That is not how you use that. Havel, anus-faced ass. But I don't know. I need to put out more videos. I just honestly don't know what to put out that hasn't either already been covered or no one cares about anyway. I am enjoying Dark Souls 2 less and less, but it's easier to stream than it is to do YouTube. Which is stupid coming out of my mouth. You have other YouTubers like Dark Project Mayhem and Mr. I Won't Forget, and just everybody else who puts a lot of effort into what they're doing. And I just go, all right, let me record 30 minutes at a time and just talk about this thing while showing unedited gameplay. And then I complain that YouTube is harder than Twitch. But I understand the slight irony there, but I just don't feel it. I don't enjoy myself as often as I probably should. And because of that, I have just neglected YouTube, and and that helps with the problem of, I can't think of anything to put on YouTube, but oh well. We're giving it our best shot anyway. So, and this is why it's easier to stream. Exactly what you're looking at right here, where we just kind of sit here and wait for a battle over and over again. And that's okay, because it's totally live. The live streams they are as they sound. They are live streams. So having to sit here with YouTube and thinking, there's going to be about 20 to 30 seconds where all they hear is my voice and they see no gameplay. It's just a loading screen. And then I feel bad about it, but, I don't have the time to go back and edit through all my things in between this and streaming, so I don't want to do that. Okay, we're back to the Swag Master. see if he's changed up his tactics just a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe not. That's one of my least favorite greatswords in this game. I don't like its length. I don't like its power. I think it's a little bit... It's a little bit ridiculous. Look at the damage. He's already... All he had to press R1 a couple of times. He's already taken half my damage because I missed the roll. So, I mean, and that's entirely, my fault that I got hit. But look at that. For a weapon that size, this is okay from. I don't even know why that's registered as a regular greatsword and not an ultra greatsword. I mean, look at it. We'll go ahead and get a jumping attack in there. Tried to catch him in the roll. You can catch people in rolls with these R2s. I mean, you can do it with the R1s as well, but you'd prefer the R2 just because it's going to have more damage. So, if there's anything about this weapon I would like better, and there's, obviously nothing we can do about it, but if there's anything I could be really happy about, it's if we change the moveset to maybe the Varangian sword. He has switched to gestures. He thinks I'm backstab fishing too much. He thinks I'm too much backstab fishing. We'll go ahead and do that because he decided that because I couldn't backstab him with his gestures, he could just walk up to me. I don't know what his reasoning behind that is, but he has switched it over. I'm surprised he hasn't started parrying. If I was him, I would start trying to punish my rolls. And we are going to try to catch him. Nope. No whip for me. Let's switch it over. Caught him in the roll right there. So, GG. Alright, gestures will not save you. I wish the community would just figure this out. You can't just slap on Havel pieces and gesture pieces and go, I'm so cool. I can't be backstabbed and I have such a high defense. And I'm sure people in the comments section will be like, DropOutDragon, I was sitting on a dick this morning and I decided to come and obsessively complain about your channel and the things that you say. How dare you call things scrubby and enforce your own opinion on the community? Well, that's all it is an opinion. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. It's just an opinion. I feel that we could have a lot more fun in this game if we all didn't run the same cookie cutter crap. That's just how I feel, and I'm very vocal about it. You guys can take it as you want, and that's just that's just how it goes. Typically, the whip I really just have the whip for parry spammers. Now if it's not, I'm talking about the guys that are just going to consistently try to parry over and over again, and it kind of warps your head. It makes you think, if I do attack, he will parry it. It kind of just it's like psychological warfare, where they just sit there and spam the parry button. And chances are, and as I've shown on my live stream, it will work. You just have to hit the parry button over and over again, and if you've got the poise, it'll work. And then you're like, yeah, I'm cool. I parried him. Okay, so it's strength weapon guy again, which is good because maybe he'll have figured out how to use a strength weapon. Okay, for this I'm gonna two-handed, only so I can have the poise breaking ability. See, like that. Using Havels and I broke his poise. Not the second attack, which is surprising. Just gonna poke him. Poke. Got lots of pokes. We're healing. That's fantastic. Fantastic, chat. Not chat, sorry. See how used to live streaming I am? It's been so long, I think that there's actual people like watching this live. Poke him again. Poke him again. Now he's dead. Bye-bye. Again, not how you use a strength weapon. And also, you're not even good when you try to heal. So, there's that too. Oh well. It's a shame. A lot of players we joke that like the curved dragon greatsword and most of the other strength weapons are like these noob traps. They convince the newbie player to go, "Oh wow, look at the AR. It's so powerful. The attack rating is so powerful. How could I possibly lose when I can do this much damage?" Well, You're not the first person to think that, and the more experienced players already know what they're doing, and they will kill you because you're just swinging around like a friggin' moron, and you're not thinking about it. You're not baiting attacks. You're not setting up for attacks. You're not rolling any. You're not doing the rolling attacks, which are faster to set up for different attacks. You're not trying to catch people in rolls. You're not doing it right, man. And because they're so just hypnotized by the amount of damage that those weapons can do, they think, oh, I can just kill everyone. Well, no, that's not the case at all. So, and I'm a very lightly armored target right now. I have no armor on me like whatsoever. Ah, here we go. Here's another one. Oh, I don't think he's gonna be a nice guy. Oh wow, that was interesting. That was interesting. Oh, this fight's very interesting. Look at that. That was interesting. Huh. Huh. I don't have words. All right. do with that what you will, I guess. Like I said, another guy who was like, "Yeah, strength weapons. My AR is so high, you can't possibly defeat me. I'm too cool. I am the best. I will stroke my epeen. I'm so cool." They were reading the Game Facts FAQ. That's where they got those builds. Oh well. Oh well, we will just try our best. I think this is probably going to be the last fight of this video, depending on who it is. But that's basically the general basis of it. Get familiar with the Ashen Warrior Sword. You can get it from the second DLC, the Iron King. It's dropped from the Ashen Warriors that have the sword. It's not a rare drop, but it's kind of difficult to get. In the sense that it doesn't drop very often, and it's quite annoying in that way. Aha, the first failed invasion. Okay, well, at least at the end of the video and not at the beginning. Those are nice. Those are always fun. And I'm using this on a 40/40. Like, well, it's easy. It'd probably do more bleed if I just had a higher dex, but who cares? It doesn't matter. It already does enough bleed anyway. Why don't I just keep the variety so I can change this build around if I want to? And quick note, the thing about these weapons and how they have such a high bleed point, and I had forgotten to talk about this, but I assume that most people know it already. I am using the Crest of Blood and the Shadow Gauntlets. These create more bleed. Okay, this gives you more bleed damage. More bleed AR, which is gonna build up their bleed quicker. So I'm using these two items, which is making that happen. So, hurrah, hurrah. If you haven't, I assume everyone knows that by now, but I guess that's stupid of me. I'll have to put it in the description. I completely forgot about it. I was just really showing the weapon off, really. Okay, so we have Cum Cake. Quite a classy name. Let's see what he's got for us this time. As I remember him, he wants those trades real bad with that katana. Katana's the master race, guys. Caught him in the roll with the tracking. Caught him again. Just laying on the pressure. He's bled. See, right there, that last bit. That last bit was him trying to roll without stamina because he got bled. He got bled, and he had just run out of stamina because of it, and we just flawlessed him because of it. That's how it happened. So basically what you just saw right there, that's how you use a bleed build. Stay super aggressive. Stay super aggressive. All right. Well, you know what? Like I said, I have nothing else really for you. This is right here the way you use this. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be aggressive. You're supposed to, have a fast weapon. And the bandit's knife is one of those good weapons, but this weapon, the Ashen warrior sword, just doesn't care. And like I said, it's not infused, so I can buff it with the resin instead of infusing it, which gives it more direct damage. So even if I don't bleed them, I can still do enough damage. I do infuse the second one because I can't buff that one. Okay? And it has incredible bleed damage, obviously, infused, but it doesn't do enough direct damage. So you had better bleed them or you're not going to do very well. Other than that, I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you guys are doing good, and I hope that I can find some more ideas for some more videos, and you guys have a good one. The TheDropOutDragon is dropping out.